Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about a McLaren overtake during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, as well as a message sent to Oscar Piastri. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me and exit James's pit lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. So let's start with that McLaren overtake at the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Basically, it was on lap 1 at turn 9. Oscar Piastri started the race in P3. His teammate Lando Norris was in P2. But going into turn 9, Piastri just went right round the outside of Norris. It was a really impressive overtake, especially considering that Piastri was on the slower hard tyres and Norris was on the faster mediums. Now, firstly, let's look at why did McLaren split the strategies at the start of the race? Why was Piastri on the hards and Norris on the mediums? Well, the race say that McLaren team boss Andrea Stella explained that this was done as a means of using Piastri to try to put Verstappen under pressure to push his medium tyres harder and potentially grain them. But one thing is clear, for Piastri to put Verstappen under pressure, he's got to be directly behind Verstappen. He can't really have a car in between. Now, in terms of the overtake with Piastri on Norris, it's hard to overtake around turn 9. I mean, the car on the inside can carry enough speed to ensure a car doesn't go round the outside. And the race say that while Norris did not deliberately let off the throttle to allow Piastri through to second, Stella said there was an element of, if a move was in the offing, then it would not be resisted, with Stella saying, as quoted by the race, "We did discuss, and we discussed even more than usual, that we obviously wanted to have absolutely clean racing in the first lap. We also discussed that with Oscar on the hard tyre, kind of letting or not making life difficult for Oscar to take the second place and then try and attack Verstappen. That was a strategic option that Lando supported, so it was good and fair overtaking by Oscar. But in itself, this is a scenario that we discussed, so it wasn't the hardest of the battles, because there was a general interest from this point of view." Now, as we know, in the second half of the season, McLaren have cost themselves quite a few points to Red Bull and Verstappen, but fair play to them. In Abu Dhabi, I think they got the strategy spot on. You know, going into the title decider, the situation was clear. If Verstappen won the Grand Prix, then Norris would have to finish P4 or lower for Verstappen to be world champion. And one option for Verstappen going into the Grand Prix was driving slower off the pace and trying to back up the field and hope someone overtakes Norris. That puts Verstappen into a championship winning position. But by Piastri starting on the hard tyres and being right up there with Verstappen in the first stint of the race, this made it harder to do for Verstappen, because if he drove slower, well, Piastri would just be right with him quite easily because he's got a more durable tyre on, and then Piastri can just go longer into the Grand Prix. And if Verstappen was driving slower, well, that would just hand the win to Oscar Piastri. And even if Norris wasn't in a title winning position, let's say he was out of it, if Piastri finished ahead of Verstappen, then Piastri would be the world champion. So Verstappen did not really have a choice. He had to drive at his normal pace and hope someone overtook Norris. So clever from the McLarens, and now Verstappen has offered his own insight into why he did not back up the F1 field from the lead of the race. And basically, with McLaren splitting their tyre strategies, Verstappen added that it also made his job more difficult, with Verstappen saying, as quoted by Racing News 365, "I had a lot of scenarios in my head, but then of course I knew once the tyres Oscar had on the car, that would be quite difficult. I think we were probably a bit too quick up front. The others couldn't really follow that well. I think Charles Leclerc drove his heart out today to try and get onto that podium, so that was also impressive to see." Now, as we know, Norris went on to be the world champion by finishing in P3, but of course his teammate Piastri was disappointed to not have won the title. And as Piastri was being comforted by his race engineer over the team radio, McLaren Racing Chief Executive Zak Brown interrupted to deliver a message of his own, with Zak Brown saying, what a season, you're a star, 7 wins, we love you. We'll do it again next year. Thank you, Oscar, for everything you've done. What a year. Oscar, very proud of you. Awesome, what a team player. We go again next year. See you on the podium. However, F1 World Champion Nico Rosberg has suggested that Zak Brown could have chosen to be more empathetic to his driver, who missed out on the world title, with Rosberg telling Sky Sports F1, as quoted by Racing News 365, that's his most horrible moment in his racing career. Maybe Zak could have had a little more empathy there, rather than celebrating. He could have said, next year will be your year, but it's difficult for Zak because he's so ecstatic at the same time. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.